Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have any other significant Cancer placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Cancer, recently I have been reading from channeled messages that I get before I turn on the camera. Today, it just wanted to be straight onto the camera. I do have channeled messages that are coming through, but it wanted to just be done organically. So to get started, a few of the channeled messages that I'm getting for you is there is a particular relationship, it feels like for you, that is a tricky one. And it's coming through as being a person who makes you feel unsafe in whatever way that is. Not necessarily, like, I don't know, maybe for some of you it's physically, if that's the case, like, please get out of that situation. But it feels more like energetically, emotionally, mentally, in that kind of way. Not that that's any less important, but there is a distinction there. So it's coming through as being someone who has repeatedly overstepped boundaries with you repeatedly. And this is not coming through as someone who, like, you've forgiven and, like, it's not like, let's say, a friend who accidentally overstepped a boundary and then, like, you know, that kind of thing. This is not someone that you would consider a friend or, like, an ex that you've forgiven or something like that. It's not coming through like that. It's somebody who is in your life, that is presently in your life, I want to say. Even if there's some distance, it's like you still repeatedly come up against their energy. Otherwise it wouldn't be coming through, Cancer. And so it's coming through as being someone who makes you feel unsafe. And the metaphor that I was getting is that it is something like a bad driver. So let's say you're driving on the road. This person is a bad driver. And I'm not saying this in a way to be judgmental, but it's more so being, like, coming through as being a way where it's like, this person is unfit to be driving because they are a danger to themselves and to other people, right? So it's not just that they're, like, you know, they do wide turns or whatever, right? Like, or they have bad lane. It's not something to be judgy. It's about, like, this person is potentially causing harm to other people and themselves by being a bad driver. So that in that way they are unfit to be driving until they can improve, right? So that's how it's coming through metaphorically for you. So there's someone around you who is like that. And it feels like it has been for quite a long time, Cancer, which is interesting. It's like not just recently. It feels like it's been years for some of you that this person has been in your space. And it's also coming through as being like overstepping your boundaries. Because let's say it's something here. For example, I don't know why they have been in your space for this long, but but like what's coming through is like, I feel like, you know, Cancer, that this person is a bad driver. So it's like, but let's say you work together, right? Like you work together, you know that this person is a bad driver. And so because you have no control over whether or not they work with you, right? Let's assuming that, like, you're not their boss, they're a coworker, so you don't have any control over, like, firing them, let's say. But what this is coming through with is, like, it's overstepped your boundaries, perhaps, because let's say you and this coworker have to go somewhere together. It's almost like you feel responsible for driving this person because they are such a bad driver on their own that it would be a hazard to let them do this on their own. That's how it's coming through. So for you, it's coming through as being like, you're taking on the extra responsibility of driving this person, right, to protect yourself and other people from this person's influence is actually how it's coming through. So you've almost like taken on the responsibility of this person's safety, in whatever way that is, right? Like, so it does feel like it has an impact on like your root chakra or whatever. It's like this person is not trustworthy. I feel like you don't trust this person to be able to, I don't know, do something on their own is actually how it's coming through. So it's almost like you've taken on their safety in order to protect yourself and other people around you. I hope that makes sense. So why it's coming through very strongly today, Cancer, is that this person is actually, I feel like, about to go through some sort of tower moment is how it's coming through to me. And it's just wanting to give you a heads up, Cancer, because I feel like it's been going on long enough that it's no longer fair for you to have to take on the responsibility of this person's safety. They are actually going to come up against a tower moment is how it's coming through to me. Where they are going to be forcibly removed from the road is actually how it feels. In whatever way that is, it'll manifest differently for every person in the physical. It's like they're going to hit a tower moment that forces them to stop. And it's coming through as being like this person is going through is going to go through. I feel like it hasn't happened yet for some of you, or like it's about to happen. This person is going through this energy of like almost being like dropped off at the hospital is how it's coming through, metaphorically. I'm not saying that this person is going to endure some sort of physical harm, but it feels like they are going to have to go through some sort of healing process is what I want to say there. So just take it how it resonates. This person is going to be forced to go into healing of some sort, and it feels like it's more so emotional, spiritual, mental kind of healing, not necessarily physical, although there may be physical consequences to that. Again, I'm not at all predicting any sort of physical harm or bodily harm to anybody. That's not what this message is about. It's coming through as being more like emotional, spiritual, mental healing that forces this person to stop potentially causing harm to other people is how it's coming through. So it's really okay. And the reason why it's coming through your reading, Cancer, is because I feel like you have been taking on the burden of managing this person's impact is how it's coming through. Like this it's almost like you were acting as the buffer for this person and everyone around you. It's been like you have been the buffer, and it's not fair to you anymore, because I feel like there's something here, not that it ever was fair, but it's reached the point where it's like the universe is interfering and saying no more. Cancer is not supposed to be taking on this burden anymore on behalf of this other. So it's also feeling like the reason why it's coming through your reading is, I was getting this message from the book/movie Ender's Game, where they're in a war, and there's a line in that book about how in order to defeat your enemy, you need to know your enemy. And once you fully know your enemy, then they become a friend, and then you're unable to defeat them. Because you care about them, because you have this compassion. And the message that's coming through for you, Cancer, is that I feel like there's been a point in this relationship dynamic where you have seen yourself as against this person, or this person is against you, or like there's conflict there, is just the point that I'm trying to make. But when this thing happens, it's going to change the way that you see them in a way where it's like you have compassion for them. not necessarily that it's like they are your friend for like, you know, that could be pushing it a little, but I feel like it's more like it's like trying to, whatever it is, this change in perspective is going to make it so that you have compassion for this person. You can see this person's pain. And so it becomes something of like releasing this sort of like resentment or anger that you may have towards this person, because you can see now what it was that they were hurting from is actually how it's coming through. Like it because this person is needing to go through healing, you can see this wound, and it may be something that's like you can get to a place of having compassion for this person because they are human. No one's perfect. This person has a wound that has caused them to be in a way that's like unsafe or whatever, right? Like has made you feel unsafe. Not at all to excuse their behavior, because I do feel like this is someone who has refused to heal is really what's coming through with that. This person has refused to heal. They have been confronted with this opportunity to heal many times before, and they've said no, is how it's coming through. They've rejected healing, and it's coming through from this place of like they didn't think that they needed healing, which is interesting. They saw themselves as being almost like it's ego. It's really just ego in whatever way that is. It's coming through as someone who like refuses to take a break, right? Because they say it's coming from this place of ego of like, if I take a break, other people will suffer because they're not receiving from me. That's the energy that's coming through with that. And that is that's a behavior or attitude that is formed from wounding of some sort. I feel like you're going to see what that is, Cancer. And that's also what's made them a quote unquote unsafe driver, right? Because it's like they're driving tired. They're driving depleted from energy. They refuse to take a break because that would force them to confront this wound of theirs, whatever that is. So, anyways, long story short, I've been talking for 13 minutes now without pulling any cards. So I'm going to pull some cards now for you, Cancer. I want to sort of like get a fresh message. I feel like it's going to be related, but we'll see what else comes through with the cards that feels relevant to you at this time. So, Cancer, could I get a card for your energy, please? I would not be surprised if the Drowned King comes out of the void. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so this is sort of what I'm getting as the after. The after, because it's almost like I feel like there's been such a long time for you, Cancer, where you have been quote unquote driving this other person around, right? It's like they've been in your car, metaphorically, right? Like they've been in because you're the chariot, they've been in your chariot, and it's almost like perhaps on a subconscious level. Let's ground this more into like a real world example. On a subconscious level, you may have been doing things that are like not like. So let's say they're not physically in your car or whatever. They're not literally in your car. Let's say that you and this person are always travel the same path, though, is how it's coming through. Like, but you know that this person is a bad driver. So it's almost like you have to drive more cautiously in order to prevent getting hit by that person or getting in the path of that person. You have to drive more consciously. That's how it's coming through. And so to an extent, perhaps subconsciously, you have been holding yourself back is actually how it's feeling. And that's part of the issue. That's part of the reason why there is this divine intervention, because it's like, Cancer, you're not supposed to be holding back anymore, but you are, because that person is a bad driver, right? Like that's how it's feeling. So you have been holding yourself back is actually how it's coming through. So when this person is removed from the road, it's all of a sudden like, oh, you don't have to be as cautious anymore. I do think you will be still, right? Because you in comparison are a good driver. But what it's coming through with here is that like after this person's energy is removed, it's almost like there's a void. And this card talks about a nothingness. It is in alignment though, but it's almost like all of a sudden, let's say there's been this like atmospheric noise. All of a sudden that noise is gone and it's like quiet, right? This like, I want to say that like it, like imagine you, this feeling of not feeling safe is kind of coming through as being like a nervous system response for you where like there's alarms blaring, right? Like that's how it's coming through. Like there's a constant alarm blaring. Like that's how this person makes you feel. So when this person is removed, it's almost like the alarms stop and it's just quiet. And it's like you can hear things for the first time. Like that's how it's coming through. You can hear something other than this alarm is how that's feeling. So there is this energy of the void, but it feels so relieving, right? It's like suddenly the alarm has stopped blaring. That's how it's coming through. Yeah, the drowned king. I told you, the drowned king. This person is going to go through an ego death for sure. Okay, so, and I feel like Cancer for you as well, but not in a way, it's more so in a way of like, for you, this feeling of not feeling safe, and what you do to make yourself feel more safe when something is not feeling that way. So there may be some sort of ego death for you as well, because it's coming through in the middle. But let's see what else wants to come out. The yellowing. And the blue vault. Okay, so the yellowing does talk about maturing, something aging, something reaching an end point. It also talks about, like, it also does talk about warning as well, which is interesting, like, almost like a hazard sign. Okay. Very interesting. It's kind of feeling like, in some places, it's mandatory for new drivers to have a sticker on their car, to alert other people that this person is a new driver, that kind of thing. That's sort of what I'm seeing with this energy. So it's kind of like, there's more awareness of a potentially hazardous energy. Like, because it's kind of coming through as like what, like, chemicals, for example, have a label on it, right? Like this chemical is flammable, this chemical is toxic, this chemical is corrosive, right? Like that kind of hazard sign, just to alert you that there needs to be care in handling that chemical. But it's almost like that's what's being put on this person's energy, is actually how it's coming through, which is very interesting, because there's almost something here where it's feeling like an energetic thing for this person, like spirit is putting a hazard sign on them energetically. This person, be cautious when you're dealing with this. I don't know in what way that's how that's going to manifest in, like, the physical. Anyways, can I get a card for Cancer? I do think that a lot, like, Okay, Cancer, the reason why this is coming through for you is how I'm getting, like, let's go back to that example of like a hazardous chemical. You have been exclusively dealing with this is how it's coming through, like taking on the bulk of the burden for this, right? So it's like, for however, it feels like years for some of you. Years for some of you where you have been acting as a buffer between this person's energy and everyone else around you. Because it almost feels like you have been protecting a group or something from this person's influence. And so it's like you've been wearing rubber gloves this entire time. It feels like you have been... like you have been wearing protective gear to deal with this energy. But now it's like that's changing because I feel like there's something here for you, Cancer. Like that's holding yourself back. It's almost like you've been in this like hyper protective mode that hasn't, like, hyper cautious as well as what's coming through. Like I feel like you've been just like walking on eggshells around this person, and that's not fair to you. It's not it like something about your energy has been held back or restrained in dealing with this other, right? Like it's like constantly hearing alarm bells, and it's like all of a sudden that stops. It stops. No more. You cannot do that to Cancer anymore is how it's coming through. And it's like instead of you just dealing with this chemical alone, it's like, I don't know what that is. Feels toxic in some way. Instead of you dealing with this toxic energy alone, it's almost like Spirit is slapping a label on this so that everyone else knows this chemical is toxic. If you're going to handle it, deal with it with gloves on. Because Cancer has been doing that for everyone else. And it's not fair to Cancer for you to be handling that energy on your own. It could also be something like, especially if it's like a group where you, again, it does feel like have taken on the burdens of other people, or like every time this, I don't know. It is feeling like 10 of Wands. So in a sense, the void energy is coming through as being like, being released from that burden. And there is an ego death here for you as well, but it's coming through as being like the awareness and understanding that you are not responsible for other people's safety, right? That's how it's coming through. So maybe you have been taking on too much of a burden. And there's almost like a removal of that from you. Yeah. The camel. Yeah, you have been okay, so this card to me is the Temperance card in this deck. It talks about being in a very fiery environment. Like the environment itself is not hospitable. It's very tough. There's like extremes, but you are good because you have carried your own water, right? You have everything you need within yourself to survive a tough environment. That is exactly describing this whole scenario that we've been in, or that I've been describing. You've carried your own water. You've made it through some sort of tough environment. You've persevered. You're patient. And you navigated this environment really well. And with caution, I want to say. Like caution, awareness, patience in whatever way. Okay, what else? The Fox. Yeah, okay. So, this other energy is coming through the Elephant, the Wolf, and the Stingray. And the Elephant is coming through again with this energy. So, the Elephant represents the destroyer of obstacles, but it can also create obstacles if you're going down the wrong path, right? So that's how I'm seeing this other. There's this feeling here of like, I don't know if this person is going to go through some sort of because they're coming out with the stingray and the wolf. The stingray talks about radical change and transformation. It does talk about accepting a radical change. The wolf also talks about like a teacher energy. And I also get phoenix energy from that as well. To me, it represents something of like transmuting really tough family karma, like karma that comes from your family. Generational trauma as well is what I get with the wolf, like transforming that. So perhaps this person is going through some sort of change and transformation because they are no longer permitted to go down this path of being unsafe for other people. That's how it's coming through. Okay. And then with the fox here in the middle, the fox in this deck talks about, a partner, a reliable partner, someone who is also a very good teacher, with the wolf. But because it's behind, like, it's like, I feel like you're not seeing this energy necessarily. Okay, because okay. So what I'm getting for you, Cancer, is that it's almost like, let's go back to that metaphor of like the driving, right? Let's say this person, this unsafe driver, whoever they are, is, has been on the road with you, right? They've almost been in like the next lane over. For some reason, they've been going in the same direction as you. But it's like, because they've been on the road with you, your energy has been overly cautious to try and avoid getting into an accident with this person, right? That's how it's feeling. So you have been taking on the burden of being extra cautious. But in that sense, it's almost been impacting how fast you can move forward. So I feel like there's been something here where your timing has been off, right? It's almost like you have arrived late at certain things because you have been driving too cautiously is how it's feeling. Instead of moving forward, it's almost like holding yourself back. So it could be that your manifestations have been impacted by this other. And that's why there's intervention happening, because it's like, no, Cancer has to get to this place. And so far they've been negatively impacted in terms of their timing, right? So it could be that your manifestations have been delayed for too long is how it's coming through, because you've been overly cautious about not getting into accidents with this person. It's been negatively impacting your divine timing. And so the divine is interfering and saying, okay, no, Cancer has to get to this place at this time. We have to remove this obstacle, because it does feel like that, so that Cancer can go forward, right? That's how it's coming through. This person, it feels like, whoever this other is, the bad driver, they're going through driving lessons is really what is coming through with this. They're going through like almost like some sort of forced healing to prevent them from being in this space now, because it's like they've been negatively impacting a bunch of people, not just you. But I feel like for you, you've been taking on the bulk of it is how it's feeling. So it's kind of like for you, Cancer, I feel like you're almost in this place of like being in the void, which to me is feeling like this like overwhelming relief that this interference is no longer there. And in that silence, there is this energy here that you have not been seeing is really what's coming through, because it was too loud. you couldn't hear anything other than the noise, right? Like that's how it's coming through. So the fox description says smart, strong partner or mate and wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. Okay, so for some of you, Cancer, it may be that that whole scenario that I was describing is actually for the fox. This does not feel like you. This feels like someone other outside of you that is being described as an ideal life partner. That's who this is. So if it's not romantic, right, just take it how it resonates. It could be like a job opportunity, right, or business partner, or like, I don't know, something other that is meant to connect with you, an ideal partnership in whatever area of your life this is for you. It doesn't have to be romantic, but this is the manifestation, right? The thing that you have been manifesting, but that has been delayed. And I feel like so it could be that this fox, whoever this is the one that was dealing with the bad driver, right? It might not be you, but I feel like on some level you were being impacted, of course. That's how it's feeling. And it's kind of like, but I feel like for you as well, it's also that the energy of the alarm blaring, you were hearing it on some level. Like it was like, I don't know. Anyways, you have the lamb at the bottom of the deck. It doesn't matter if it was yours or theirs, because the bad driver, whoever that is, was negatively impacting the union of whatever this is, right? So it's both. It impacted both of you. Perhaps you're both dealing with something like that on some level. It was manifesting in both of your lives in different ways, perhaps. Because you are already in union spiritually, right? Emotionally, there's already a union. So it's like spiritually, emotionally, mentally, energetically, you were hearing this alarm or this like sense of trying to be very cautious or like aware of another person's movements in a way that was negatively impacting this ideal partnership is how it's coming through. Interesting though that they're coming out with the Drowned King, because I feel like there's something here. You have the stone and the bridge coming out. Yeah. In the river. Okay. Again, it's wanting to come through Cancer as being like having compassion for this person who is quote unquote the bad driver. Again, I'm not saying that in a way to be judgy. I'm saying this in a way to describe that their energy was unsafe for other people or potentially causing harm to other people and themselves. And so they are going through forced healing. The universe is carrying them to a place where they can do healing, where they can heal. And I want to say that you might have an experience of having compassion for this person, because in a sense, it was not their fault, which is really interesting that that's coming through. It could not at all, like, because it's wanting to, I feel like this person is a victim in some way. They were a victim. So it's not necessarily their fault that they were a bad driver. It's like the person who taught them how to drive was the cause, right? Like their teacher, perhaps it could be their family or something, like the person who taught this person how to drive, metaphorically, was not a good driver. And so they learned bad habits, and that's not their fault, right? Like that's how it's feeling. So, but, they are in a place now, or they're going to be, of taking responsibility for that and learning the correct way to drive, right? Metaphorically. That this person has the task of transforming this generational trauma, it feels like, that was passed down to them. I do think that they are going to accept this. It might take them a while, though, because, but they do have this job ahead of them of transforming some sort of generational trauma, is really what's coming through with this. I do think that they are accepting that. They are accepting this. And again, I do think you will end up having compassion for this person as well, because it's like they are willing to do the work. They didn't know that they were causing harm. They were a victim as well, right? That's how it's feeling. Compassion is really what's coming through. Compassion. The universe is helping them as well. It's also what's coming through with this. The universe is guiding them towards the right path, because I feel like there is this energy here. For some of you, Cancer, this person may even end up being an ideal partner in whatever way. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. But it's like they have to do the work first. Otherwise, it's never going to work, right? Like, that's how it's feeling. If this person can do the work of transforming and healing, that is what causes them to become this ideal life partner, is how it's feeling. Or for some of you, just take it how it resonates. The person who's going through this intense healing was preventing your life partner from getting to you. You know, just take whatever resonates for you. It will differ for you depending on what path you're on. But I want to say that there is, this person is going through healing. I do think they will end up better for it, but it may not be easy. I do think you will be seeing something about them that will elicit compassion from you. Okay. You have the Mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. Yeah. I feel like that's what you have been dealing with. This energy of like someone who has been unwilling to change, that someone new is entering your life. But that it's like the universe is forcing them to change because it's impacting you. Impacting something that I feel like is divinely timed. It does feel like timing is like a huge factor in this. Something that the timing needs to be right. And so far, it's almost like things have been delayed. So it could be that for you, things might start to be accelerated all of a sudden in order to get you to the place on time, whatever that means. You have Parrot. Someone will gossip about all your secrets. One of my least favorite cards in this deck, honestly. And then you have Camel again. Persevere and you will overcome problems. Okay, so I do think you're leaving something behind. I feel like this Parrot energy is what is like, yeah, and the Rooster, yeah. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Yeah, that's absolutely this this other person. Arrogant, boastful person. The bad driver, right? It's a bad driver who thinks they're a good driver. That's the issue. Yeah, okay. Money will be coming to you. Coins. So I feel like it has had an effect on your financial status as well, or on this other on the person who is arriving for you. Like, it could have been impacting their finances, whatever it is. It's like it's had a big impact that has been felt by you, Cancer. Perhaps on a monetary level. It doesn't have to be, though, but with this card coming out, crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. Yeah, I do think something new is going to be born from this. Good news. Okay, it's a very interesting reading today, Cancer, but it wanted to come through very strongly. I was not planning on doing Cancer reading today, but I've gotten that message a lot for the last few Cancer readings, where like, especially if it's related to Pisces, Cancer's just been coming through really strongly and like wanting to get the reading out, right? It's like this feeling of like the universe is like pushing something forward for you, Cancer. It's like we need to accelerate this for Cancer because they've been delayed by something that was outside of their control, is really how it's coming through. Where the universe is helping to accelerate something for you is really what I'm getting for that as a closing message. So I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.